Yeah, so translating a language. So going from one language to the next language. Anyone else think of a different thing for translation? All right, so we're doing something called transformations. Transformations. There are 4 different types of transformations. Today we're doing the first one, translation. On Thursday, we're doing reflection. When I see you again, we're going to do rotation, and then after that, dilation. And those are the 4 different types of transformations. Usually every year, I give a quiz every single class period about this for like 5 or 6 days because it's basically memorization. So if I could ask you to memorize anything the whole year, it would be these 4 transformations. If I asked you to study anything, it would just be memorizing these rules. So the first one is translation. So what is a translation? A translation is a slide. So write that down. A translation is a slide. A translation is a slide. So it's me sliding my figure, sliding it. So it goes from one spot to the next. It's a slide. It's a slide. I wonder if it'll let me do that again. There it goes. So it's me sliding my figure. So either I can slide it up, down, left, right. It's me sliding my figure on a coordinate plane. Okay, it's a slide. It's a slide. One thing I need you to know is that before I do anything to my figure, so I'm gonna label this label. I don't think this slide I printed out. So you're gonna need to draw a triangle. Before I do anything to my figure, this is called the pre-image. Before I move it or anything like that, it's called the pre-image. So before I do anything to my figure, it's called the pre-image. The pre-image. So I labeled this triangle A, B, and C. So this is my pre-image. This is before I move it. This is before I slide it. This is before I translate it. Once I translate it, so once it slides across the coordinate plane, it's then called an image. So pre-image, pre, before, image. So it goes from pre-image to image. I'm gonna try sitting up here if it makes a difference. All right, so pre-image to image is me sliding. What you need to know is when it's called image, it turns into prime notation. So instead of labeling this A, it's called A prime. I put an apostrophe on it. This is B prime and then C prime. So that's how I can tell the difference. If it's before I move it at all, it's called a pre-image and it's labeled ABC or whatever letters. And then when I move it, the image is A prime, B prime, C prime. It's in prime notation. Prime notation. So that's how I know which one the pre-image is and which one the image is. Prime notation. So it's just a little apostrophe. That's what that prime is. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own translations and see how it affects our order pairs. So you do have this slide on your printout that I gave you. If you're at home, I would probably just screenshot this and then annotate it in your photos. All right. So this is our translation example number 1. We want to translate this to the right 3 and down 1. So we want to translate this triangle to the right 3 and down 1. So look at my pen first before you start anything. So this is point A, right? And I want to go to the right 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then down 1, 1. So this right here would be A prime. See how I did that? So I'm going to move each vertex the way it tells me to move it. I'm going to do the same thing with B. It goes to the right 3. So from B, 1, 2, 3, and down 1. Down 1. So there's B prime. Same thing with C. I'm going to take C, go to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, and then down 1. And there's C prime. And then connect my dots to make the triangle. Not bad, not bad. So this one is the image. The pre-image. This one is the pre-image. And this one is my image. Okay. Cool, we did that. We translated that. But is the STAR test going to ask us to translate? They can't grade that. They can't grade me drawing a picture. Okay, so it's going to ask something called the algebraic representation. It's going to ask, well, what happened to my ordered pairs? This is the part that you need to understand. Okay, so first let's write down our pre-image coordinates. Where's A at? What is the coordinate for A? Let's see, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, negative 7, 6. Negative 7, 6. Yeah, so the x comes first. So negative 7, 6 is A. Where's B? Negative 5, 2, yes. And if you do not know how to read ordered pairs, this is the time to ask, wait, Ms. Patterson, I don't get it. What do you mean negative 5, 2? All right, where's C? Negative 7, 2, yes. Negative 7, 2. Okay. Where's A prime? Negative 4, 5. Where's B prime? Negative 2, 1. And where's C prime? Negative what? Negative 4, 1. Perfect. Okay. Again, I hate just telling you how to do something. I want you to kind of see if you can figure it out yourself. So we went to the right 3 and down 1. Let's see if we can figure out any observations here. Look at A. Look at the x coordinate. It went from negative 7 to A prime is negative 4, the x value. So I went to the right 3. I just want to keep that in mind. I went to the right 3. The B value went from negative 5. B prime is at negative 2. C is at negative 7. Then it went to negative 4.
So it subtracted 3.
So it moved 3, and also the number moved 3. It added 3. It added 3 to the x value. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. So my x values added 3. And that makes sense. If this is a number line, I went to the right 3 on my number line. So I added 3 to my x value. So if I was writing my algebraic representation, it goes from xy to x plus 3. My x value added 3 to get from the pre-image to the image. Okay, let's look at the y values. Keep in mind, I went down 1. Let's see. It went from 6 to 5, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. So what happened? It subtracted 1. And that makes sense. If I'm going down, right, the y-axis is down. If I go down this number line, that would be subtracting 1. So it'd be y minus 1. So, yep. And this is what the STAR test is going to ask you. It's going to ask you for the algebraic representation. And it makes sense. If I go to the right, that's increasing. Yes, it will. Good question. So it will give you the algebraic representation and tell you, well, what happened to the figure? So me going to the right 3, to the right, that's the x-axis, right? The x-axis goes left to right. So if I'm going to the right, that's increasing on the x-axis. If I went down, that's the y-axis. The y-axis goes up and down. That would be decreasing on the y-axis. All right, let's look at another one. Ask me questions if you do not understand, because literally there's like 5 or 6 questions on the STAR test on this alone. Okay, translation example number 2. We want to translate this to the left 5 and up 3. We want to translate this to the left 5 and up 3. So let's do A first. A to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. So here's A prime. All right, so do the rest of them. Do the rest of them. So I'm going to take B to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. There's B prime. And again, if you're on Zoom and you're just not joining us, I would suggest that you screenshot this and do this in your photos for your notes purposes. So taking C to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. C prime. And then connect my dots. Ugh, that's ugly. That one did not turn out good. So here's my pre-image. And here's my image. Could you wait like 10 minutes? I'll be done in about 10 minutes. All right. So let's say, where's A at? Where's A?
10.
6, 6. Where's B? 8, 2. And where's C? 6, 2.
Miss, how did you make that coordinate?
Good question. So A is right here. So I go on the x-axis first. So A is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the x, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y. So it'll be 6, 6. And like B is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the x, and 1, 2 on the y. So that's how I read it. So it's the x first. So this one's at 6 on the x and 2 on the y. So that's why this one's 6, 2. Does that make sense? Or you okay? Okay, write down the ordered pairs for A prime, B prime, C prime, because some of you might not know. So I want you to try to do it yourself, and then we'll compare. So A prime, B prime, C prime. So write it down on your paper. A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, where's A prime? All right. right, where's C prime? I mean, sorry, not C prime, B prime. 3, 5, and where's C prime? All right. So let's look at what this said. It said so we're gonna start with the X first. It says I went to the left 5, left 5. Okay, let's look what happened to our X values. It went from 6 to 1, 8 to 3, 6 to 1. So what happened? It subtracted 5. So my algebraic representation would be X minus 5. And it went up 3. So I just want you in your head, like, okay, if I go up 3, just think about what think about what you think. I went from 6 to 9, 2 to 5, 2 to 5. I'm looking at the Y values. So what did it do to the Y values? Plus 3. So Y plus 3. So this would be my algebraic representation. X minus 5, Y plus 3. Okay. So I'm going to say this with as much niceness as I can. If you're just copying down and not trying to engage, no class will ever be fun for you. No class will ever be, you will not get anything out of any class. Anytime you go to a class, even if you do not like that class, I highly suggest engage. Even if you don't like the topic, engage. It will help you understand and it will help time go by much faster, okay? So you're not learning if you're just copying. Let's just be real. You're not going to remember this after today. Okay, so let's try to actually engage and be a part of it. If you need to stand up for a minute, wiggle yourself out to wake up, then do that. Okay, so what I want you to notice, if I'm going to the left, that's the x-axis. So going to the left is going down the number line, so that's why I'm subtracting 5. If I'm going up 3, that's the y-axis. So that's going up the y-axis, that's why it's adding 3. Okay, one more example, okay? One more example. Example number 3. Oh, this triangle is not perfectly on the line. Oh well. Okay, before we even make our new triangle, I want us to think, before we even draw it out. If I'm going to the right one, I want you to just think in your head right now, what do you think the algebraic representation would be? Don't say it out loud, just think. If I'm going to the right one. So going to the right is on which axis? X. Do you think I'll be adding or subtracting if I'm going to the right? Okay, so this is a number line. So if I go to the right, is my numbers increasing or decreasing? Increasing. So I'll be adding.
Increasing.
So I don't even have to draw this out. I know that it's going to be X plus 1 because I'm going to the right one. If it says I'm going up 3, which axis is going up and down? The y-axis. And if I'm going up, do you think I'm adding or subtracting? Adding, because I'm going up the number line. So this should be y plus 3. So I didn't even have to do all this extra work. I could just read the problem and based on us doing this, figure out what my algebraic representation is. Okay? So, but I'm still going to do this anyways, okay? Because I think some people still don't understand it. So doing a little extra will help you with the algebraic representation. So I'm going to go ahead on my paper, do the translation. Okay, so you can go ahead and do it on your paper too. So I'm gonna start with my A. I'm going to the right one and up 3. Right one, up 3. So here's my A prime. B is to the right one, up 3. B prime. C is to the right one, up 3. C prime. All right. So my pre-image coordinates, where's A? 2, -3. Because it's to the right 2 and down 3. Where's B? 4 what? 4, -7. I know it's not perfectly on the line this time. I didn't make it. All right, and then was it 2, -7 for C? All right. A prime is at 3, 0. B prime, 5, -4, and C prime. So we should notice from our A, I'm looking at my X coordinates. From 2 to 3, I added 1. 4 to 5, I added 1. 2 to 3, I added 1, which is what we said in the beginning. And our Y coordinates, -3 to 0, -7 to -4, I added 3. So there's my algebraic representation. We see it right there. Okay. If you're not understanding, I really need you to speak up because that's literally my last example. So I need to know if you don't get it. Okay. This you have, but this is my little cheat sheet. If I'm going to the right, I know that's talking about the x-axis. And if I'm going to the right, I'm adding to the x value. And it kind of makes sense in my head. When I think right, I think addition. I don't know, that's just me. And then if I'm going to the left, that's the x-axis, and that's subtracting. That'd be subtracting. That's going down the number line. Going up is the y-axis, and that'll be adding to the y. And going down is the y-axis, and that's subtracting from the y. So here's a quick question. I'm going to stand up real quick so you can see me doing this. Okay, this is me. I'm my pre-image right now, okay? I'm going to translate. Did I get fatter? Did I? Did I get bigger?
No, you did.
I know. Did I get smaller? No. Did I stay the same? Yeah, I did, right? I didn't get bigger. I didn't get smaller. I stayed exactly the same. So these are two things you need to highlight on your paper. If I'm translating, that means I preserve congruence. Preserve congruence. Preserve congruence. That means I stay the same. If I move something, it didn't get bigger or smaller. It stayed exactly the same. It preserves congruence. The second thing is it preserves orientation. That means when I moved, did my head become my feet? Did my feet become my head? No, I stayed in the exact same spot, like all my body parts. So therefore it preserves orientation. So translation preserves congruence and preserves orientation. All right, last slide. I want you to look at these questions and answer them on your own. And then I'm going to call on one person, okay? You might get chosen, you might not, okay? So I want you to look at these and figure out what the algebraic rule would be. So when it's saying algebraic rule, it's asking for, would it be x plus or minus something? Would it be y plus or minus something? Figure out what that plus or minus is. So let's start with number one. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. 1 minute. Look at number one. See if you can figure it out. Once you figure it out, see if your neighbor got the same answer. Okay, number one. Brindley. If I'm going 2 units to the right, what does that do for the x? Adds 2. Good job. Emily, if I'm going up 4, what does that do to the y? Perfect. So it'll be x plus 2, y plus 4. Okay, let's do number 2. Did you already do number 2? Oh, lol. I'll give 15 more seconds if you haven't done number 2. This one's kind of tricky. Check yourself. I said 5 units down and 3 units to the right. I switched them, the order I put them in, but that doesn't. So I don't know. We'll see what y'all say. We'll just wait. All right. So if I'm going 5 units down, Esther, which variable is that talking about? The x or the y? The y. So what would the y say? Y minus 5. And if I'm going 3 units to the right, Lizette, what would that be? X plus 3. Perfect. So it'd be x plus 3, y minus 5. X still comes first, y still comes second. It's just I wrote it in a different order this time. Trick question. Okay. Number 3. What is the algebraic rule if the image is translated 3 units up, 5 units to the right? Okay, Mia, if I'm going 3 units up, which is that, x or y? Y, so it'll be plus or minus? Plus 3, perfect. And then, that should say 3. And then Lizette, if I'm going 5 units to the right, what is that, plus or minus 5? Plus 5, perfect. So it'll be x plus 5, y plus 3. Okay. What do y'all think? Easy, hard, medium? Pretty easy? Okay. Let me stop the recording.